Hey everybody, figured I would try my hand at streaming again, so why not? Not sure if it's actually working though. Yeah, I think we're live. Yeah, so I figured I'd try my hand at streaming again. This time I've got at least some kind of background noise to keep the world entertained, so why not? But yeah, I figured I would just mess around. Might as well. I've got some time before I need to like get dressed and all that fun stuff. Let me know if the music is too loud or anything like that. I honestly can't tell for you guys. I tried to lower it like a good amount, but if my voice isn't coming in clear or anything like that, just let me know. So yeah, I'm initially doing my faction assaults just because I need to do these before the end of the day. So I might as well do it. But yeah, this is the team that I was showing last stream. Oh, God. That troop is vicious. Well, there goes this one. Guess we're gonna do this the hard way. Yeah, I really underestimated how frustrating that dude's gonna be. We're doing this the hard way. See, this is why I would want my Chief Dargon up in that top slot. Be much better. Let me see if I can... do this as well. Actually get it so the chat is properly displaying up there. Definitely don't need it full screen. Let's just do this real quick. Ba-ba-ba. Alright, that should work better now. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So yeah, I just got totally smoked by that insta-kill troop again, so that's definitely gonna be the gimmick with this this whole situation. So this is gonna be fun. I feel like this is one of those ones where when you get to yeah, Alan, this is the first well, I shouldn't say first time. I streamed yesterday for a little bit, but I figured or was it yesterday? 2 days ago? I figured I'd start streaming on top of all this stuff. I mean, I play this game on my computer. Might as well might as well. I guess this is the best answers I got. Might as well. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a newer thing. But let me know if like the audio's funny or anything like that. I mean, I just did some quick Googling and I saw that I could play this Twitch channel for like some background music. Looks like as long as I don't monetize anything, then I should be fine. And my channel is literally not monetized, so I think I'm fine. But yeah, I guess we'll find out if I get in trouble for that later. I don't think I will though. Yeah, this delve is not going to be a fun one. I'm glad this happened at the lower levels. I need to really make sure that I kill that troop before they do anything scary, because that's just really frustrating. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I think for a lot of the content that I make, it makes sense that I'm doing videos. Like, it's kind of hard to do like a live stream of a guide, I guess. I mean, I do record them in one take more often than not, but I feel like, I don't know, I guess it's a mix. I mean, I'm definitely going to keep doing it. I actually ordered a green screen, so that way I could get the whole thing behind me and just have my face all tiny, like, this is serviceable. I downloaded some free background removal thing, but it was like total trash. Like it was flickering like crazy. Like I was just thinking if I was you guys watching, it would drive me nuts. So I figured this little head window is about as good as I'm gonna be able to do for you guys. I think you overestimate my skills, Alan. I want to make my own music, actually. I did download and mess around with some audio stuff back in the day, but I mean, certainly nowhere near proficient. Not enough that I would actually make anything for you guys to listen to, that's for sure. But I did dabble for a little bit. I feel like this video making thing is gonna be my new thing. Like, I don't know what it is. I always kind of like, I mean, I play this game a lot. I have a lot of strong opinions about how to play it, so I figured I might as well make content for folks. Like in guild and stuff like that, I'm always helping out people as much as I can. Just because a game like this is kind of deceptively deep, and I enjoy how you can really mess around with stuff. Like, it's just nice to be able to put together these interesting, unique, crazy teams that people wouldn't necessarily expect. Like for Guild Wars today, for instance, I was using this really awkward Brown Day team that was like actually a blue team, but using all brown mana, if that makes sense. Because the main thing that was driving me nuts was whatchamacallit, that Yao Queen defense team. So like, since they're always taking away all of your all the brown mana, I made a team that was basically like blue mana dependent that just happened to all be brown. So the new Daughter of Ice Troop, she's actually really good for that because she'll take all reds and turn them to blue, which is perfect because that totally screws over that Yao Queen team. Like, it doesn't give their Taipan anything to convert, and sets you up to do some really nice stuff. So I was quite happy with my success with that today. I was messing around with it all day yesterday. I hear you, man. Yeah, you might see me use my vape thing on the stream, so I apologize if that's offensive to anybody. But my face is very tiny, so you should hopefully not even really see it. It's kind of a bad habit. I mean, it helps, for me at least. Yeah, I'll probably be on for about like an hour today. I definitely need to shower and get ready to go out later. But I figured I'd spend some time with all you fine folks. You can watch me totally slowly get through this. Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of... See, like, this is the team that would have been so fun to use Iron Gut on, because I'm set up to perfectly deal with this team, and I'm just kind of sad that I'm going to have to brute force my way through this thing. Like, this is where just barriers are everything. Shouldn't have done that. Oh well. This is definitely not going to be a fun time, especially with Dargon like down there. But we're getting some lucky matches, and I am going to stun people whenever they try and hit me, so that's going to be useful. It's kind of like I want there to be like a skull fall. 'Cause I can definitely deal with hits way better than they can. This music's not bad, actually. I used to listen to Monster Cat stuff like all the time. Probably shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Still win. God. I'm gonna earn the crap out of these sigils this time. And we're gonna mess with my order, why not? Ooh, but now Chief Darkgun's up top. That's actually nice. That's beautiful for this dumb situation that I'm in. Let me just get my attack up to 75,000 and then win. That's amazing. It's like actually amazing. See, this is making me debate if I want to put that dude in the top slot. Like, maybe he won't die as quickly as I think he is. I'm going to try it, actually. Next time I play, unless that happens, then what does it matter? I just can't win. Yeah, this is an example of what happens when, if you don't have speed in your delve team, this is what happens. Like, you're just stuck in this scenario where, like, if this was a high-level delve, I would be dead, like, immediately. Hey, Cord. How's it going, man? For the Pure Harpy team? So, I mean, Queen Xochi is actually really nice. I almost used her on Brown Day for Guild Wars. She kind of feels like a really shitty Infernus, if that makes sense. Like, she's, like, that little explosion that she gets is pretty nice. The only problem is with a Pure Harpy team, you're going to be struggling a little bit. Admittedly, like, I actually never do those, the pure teams, just because I always find them to be less fun. But I mean, at a minimum, it would definitely have to have Queen Xochi in it. You know, I'll look at it real quick when I'm done with this to see. I've actually never really done that. That's probably like the last thing that I'll end up doing. Once I get all my delves up to like level 500, I'll actually try and do them all with some kind of delve team if that's even possible. I guess that's kind of the problem, is if you do that first, then you're going to have to beat the delve at 500 with one of those teams, which is going to be pretty rough. Yeah, I'm trying to reach out to Salty and the folks at Infinity Plus 2 to see if I can get like credentialed as a streamer, if you will, so that way I can actually get redeem codes and stuff like that for you guys. Unfortunately, I do not have any of that stuff yet, but not for lack of trying. I've actually reached out to them a handful of times to see if I can get on there. It seems like obviously they're busy and I'm just some random dude, so I don't take it personally. This team might be super rough to punch through with this weak. No, there we go. Need more of that. Oh, man. Yeah, this egg's gonna keep hatching. Just need to deny it yellows. Unlike that. This feels like I'm playing a life and death team, like right now, where it's just gonna last forever. And even if I win, it's not gonna feel good. Killing High King Iron Gut was like the absolute worst thing that could have happened. I'm just getting rid of that yellow mana. Yeah, the 20% kill troop, I mean, that's what sniped me in this thing. Like, this delve isn't even a high-level delve, so it's kind of... It's almost worse than all the previous delves that we've done. Like, before they used to have troops like Trickster and stuff that would just kind of mess up your order. And, like, messing up your order is one level of frustrating, but then just, like, straight insta-killing somebody, that's a whole nother level of frustrating. Like, I mean, that's just gonna kill your run potentially right away. Yeah, I mean, this game with RNG, as you guys have probably experienced, it's kind of like, if something says it's 20%, that means it's never if you do it, and if it's 20%, that means it's always if the AI does it. Like, I swear to God, yesterday I was trying to kill people with High King Iron Gut and, like, eat them, and he had 88%, and I missed it, like, twice in a row. And it's like, of course that's statistically possible, but it just feels like such garbage. Like, why would that happen? Meanwhile, that insta-kill troop, like, literally I think has one-shot me every single time that it's used its ability. Like, it's not a... For them, it's not a 20%. It seems like it's just a kill that person kind of troop. It's a good time. Nothing makes people happy than just unexpectedly getting killed for no reason. I mean, it's kind of like... This is the opposite of a good time right now. Just cannot stand that they killed Iron Gut. They could have killed anybody else, and this would have been fine. This music just got epic as heck, though. What the heck? This feels like some kind of like getting ready for a final fight kind of stuff. Yeah. This is like a video game like end boss kind of setup. I'm into it. You guys ever do that when you're listening to music? Sometimes I'll just like pretend that the music I'm listening to is like my theme song in life kind of thing. Like if I was a villain or like a wrestler or something, like I could just picture that music playing as I'm walking out. I would be all about that. This would be some epic stuff. Unless that's just me and you're all like secretly terrified. But that is absolutely something I do. Yeah. This is cool. Or this is like old school video game kind of thing. I could totally picture that too. But if any of you guys have any questions about anything Gems of War, definitely like feel free to shoot it off in chat. I'm watching chat the entire time, so if you guys have any other random questions, feel free to shoot them out there. I hate these little blocks. I love it when I can blow them up just so I don't have to deal with my board getting all messed up. Let's see, yeah, that's good. I'm just gonna keep cursing fools. This team is kind of funny. Like, it's all just like pumping up your attack, and then Bonnie's just gonna totally like snipe someone dead. I mean, fortunately at this level, they're only gaining like 14 at a time. And the higher level delves, like, I've gotten randomly like killed by these things, which is the absolute worst. Which makes me think, I wish the game introduced more, like, better rogue types. Like, I really wish there was better rogues in this game. Like, the gold mechanic as it exists right now is cool. Like, I kind of like that it's a thing. But it's frustrating that it's not as cool. Like, when I was making that class guide video, I was kind of shocked when I sorted by rogue, and there was literally nothing but up to epic level. Like, there wasn't any legendary or even mythic rogues. So it's kind of like, it seems like a very untapped troop type. I feel like Rogue, Wargear, Construct, there's like a handful that seem like they're not really a lot of good stuff around it. Like, there's an overemphasis of like divines. There's like a crap ton of divines. Feels like demons have been getting a lot of love lately, which is nice. But there's still like a lot of troop types that you can't really build sufficient teams around. And it's kind of frustrating because when you see there's like a new class of some kind and it's of a certain troop type, like your mind should automatically jump to like, okay, well then what kind of troops kind of synergize with that? So it's kind of like, Korn, you are a man after my own heart, talking about Sunspear like that. It's so good. Yeah, obviously Titan is best for first. So, I mean, you want to get to Titan, just because that's going to enable, like, good PvP, good delving, good events. Like, it's going to allow you to do everything the game has to offer. After you get Titan up, though, to me, I would say Sunspear, like you said. I actually wouldn't put Thief so much in there. I mean, it is, like, nice to have a stealthy class, but I wouldn't necessarily say Thief would be the next one I would level after that. Tidecaller is good, but Tidecaller kind of plays like a Titan in some ways. Like, he gets the on the 4-5 matches, he gets the mana bouncing thing. Like, he'll blow up a random blue. So I mean, and he cleanses himself. That's kind of the only difference. It's like he's a Titan that doesn't cleanse himself, but he whatchamacallit, like he submerges, but he doesn't barrier himself. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's kind of like Tidecaller will feel very samey to Titan. I mean, I would argue if you already have your Titan up that high, it would probably be worth doing something a little more that feels a lot more different. So what class would I recommend then? Just for like a little variety. I mean, Frost Mage is obviously the next most useful one, I would argue. It's definitely a class that you would want to level up. Watch I lose this. I guess to me it's kind of like, as long as the game is interesting to you, like that's the most important thing more than anything, because I mean if you get bored of the game because you're just playing classes that feel the same all the time, that's definitely not going to be fun for you. And that's kind of the thing that happens with Frost Mage, with Titan, even with Tidecaller. Like they feel very samey, so it's like, I don't know, you kind of want to keep it fresh. That's why I love Sunspear so much, because it just feels so much different than all the other classes. I feel like I need to have a class list in front of me while I'm trying to play and talk at the same time so I can actually give you a good answer. I mean, it's definitely not Sorcerer. It's definitely not Warlord. I mean, Thief is pretty good. I would almost say maybe something like Archer is kind of fun to mess around with. Like Sentinel is obviously going to be like a Titan on steroids when it comes to events. Like, to me, the Sentinel class is the one that you would really want to have leveled if you were serious about events and things like that. Sentinel is going to be the one that enables you to do the most in that capacity. The only problem I have with Sentinel is that I never use it unless it's an event, so that kind of doesn't feel as good. Like, it's just really boring to play a Sentinel in PvP, I find. Any class that doesn't have the extra mana explosion always kind of bugs me. It just doesn't feel good to play them, if that makes any sense. I'm glad I keep catching these browns. This is going to be like a 75-hour fight. Oh, this guy's giving life to everybody on top of it. Excellent. Yeah, I have like an issue with... I don't know what the big hubbub is with Plague Lord. Like, maybe someone needs to sell me on it a little bit, because to me it just looks like a worse Frost Mage, and well, not a Frost Mage. It looks like a worse Titan, and even like a worse Rune Priest. Like, it just doesn't feel like it's offering a whole lot. Like, aside from the Stone Tree, which a couple other classes have, like, Disease is such a weak debuff that it's kind of hard to build around it, I guess, in my mind. I feel like this is my Mount Everest right now. Like, how am I supposed to... Alright, good. I'm almost, like, glad they killed me. Them killing High King Iron Gut made this, like, the absolute worst thing on the planet. Alright, let me look at my classes real quick so I can actually give you an answer before I jump back into all that stuff again. Alright, so, I mean, you can kind of get a sense of which ones I like based on the class levels. I mean, so, actually, Dragon Guard's really nice. I'm starting to come around on Dragon Guard. I think once I get that level up to 100, I'm probably going to use this a lot. The main reason I like this is because it kind of offers a lot of things. The only thing it's missing, I mean, it's missing two big things, actually. It's missing the 50% mana start, and then it's also missing the extra gem explosion on 4/5s. But what it makes up for is it has this skull reduction, which is nice. It has some ability to magic pump itself and other dragons if you happen to run with them, which is really nice. And then you get access to Banishment to Dispel, which is really strong in the current meta. Things like Life and Death are always going to give you problems, so having a class with Banishment is really nice. But then you also get access to Fireblade. So if you have a Sunspear team that you really like, it's very possible that once you get Dragon Guard up to 100, you can kind of play it like a Sunspear, especially if you put Infernus on your team, because you'll have a constant Firestorm running. But then you also get access to Dispelling and 40% Skull Reduction. And then, like, the only thing it's missing that Sunspear gives you is that opener, like the Freeze and Entangle. A little less bonus, but I think this class is actually a lot better than I think it is. I just need to get it to 100, so that's kind of what I've been working on. Frost Mage is really good. Like, for Guild Wars defense, you can't go wrong with a Frost Mage. Like, it's absolutely the best one. I think if you watched my Guild Wars video, it kind of explains it. But even if you look at my my defenses this week, you'll see that I'm running Frost Mage like pretty much whenever I can. Obviously, this team needs a rework with that score. But like, whenever you're running a Frost Mage, like, since the entire other team's going to be running the same color, like, freezing anybody is going to block that mana for everybody. So having a high-level Frost Mage is definitely going to improve your Guild Wars defense games. It's kind of funny. This is actually our sister guild, or partner guild, I should say. So I'm in, like, Tough Unrepentant. This is Tough Power Gems, so we had to fight each other. It always makes for a fun conversation in chat. Triple Gargoyle and Stone Slicer. Yeah, I guess that would work. Actually, you're making me have to double check what Gargoyle does. I remember what Stone Slicer does. What's he do? Oh, and he explodes gems. Yeah, okay. I could totally see that. It's like a cheeky team. I mean, it would totally work, I imagine, since Stone Slicer's making what mana? It's probably, I'm going to assume it's red and brown based on what you just said. Purple and brown, yeah. Well, actually, oh, but it does constructs. I see what you're saying. Yeah, you'll get a bunch of looping. Oh, and then it loops itself because of the purple mana. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. That's like a cheeky team. I don't know if you need to have 3 gargoyles to make it work, but that would totally work. But yeah, just to answer that other question, like, to me, the essential classes to have up are, I would say Titan, of course. I would argue Sunspear, Sentinel, Frost Mage. But if you're looking for like another class, Frost Mage is probably going to get you the most value. But I would say Dervish or Dragon Guard, actually. So Dervish is insanely good, and you can be really, really good with it right away. Like, you don't actually have to level it up very high. You know, you get access to Hunt at level 1, and then you pretty much get nothing useful at all until level 70. But this fact that it can pump itself that fast makes it super good. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, when you run a Dervish team, it just, like, smacks people so hard. Like, I might have one pre-built I can just show you. Yeah, let's see how it does against that. So this is, like, the Dervish team that I like to run with. So, what's nice about Dervish, like, is since you're going to be stat pumping, like, Emperor Corvash is going to be constantly doing more and more and more true damage. And then every single time I loop, it's going to be pumping everybody's stats. So it's kind of like, literally when I'm in this scenario where I've got Jar full and they've barely started, like, I already feel like the fight's over. We'll see if that's true or not, since we got a life and death down there. But it's kind of just like, I don't know, I just feel bad for them. I don't know what else they can do at this point. Yeah, it would be tough, honestly. I was talking with other guild people about that, actually. Like, what would I do if I lost my account for some reason? It would be really hard for me to jump back in and keep playing. You know, just like the literal amount of money that I've spent on this game, like, on top of the time, it would just be really rough. So, I mean, it would be hard to get me out of there. But this is an example of, like, what you do with Dervish. Like, I mean, there was life and death in there. I don't know what class they were running that with. This is someone in Tacit's guild, actually. But yeah, I mean, it just slams through everything. Like, every single time you loop with all those stat pumping that you do, like, Dervish is really, really fun. So if you're looking for another class to level besides, like, the standard, I would say, like, outside of the standard, Dragon Guard and Dervish are probably going to be the most fun. But yeah, that's actually, as I'm talking out loud, I just realized I actually have to go on the Switch and get my Soulforge unlocked, so that way I can talk to the Switch folks in my weekly preview videos. Like, I got my Switch account set up, so I can actually do that now, but I don't have access to the Soulforge, and there's no, like, online resource, like, for Terran's World or anything like that, where I can look up the Switch info. So I'm going to have to actually just take some time and walk over to the Blighted Lands and do it. Yeah, no instant kill. We're going to have a good time this time. At least I hope we're gonna have a good time this time. That was super frustrating. I'm just gonna keep munching people. I feel so bad. I should totally pay attention to who's, like, undigestible or not. I'm pretty sure that none of the harpies are, but it'd be worth looking instead of just, like, waiting until it, like, shouts at me and then finding out. I'm pretty sure they're not. Yeah. Yeah, of course, Corin. Sorry it took me like 20 minutes to get to your question, though. But yeah, I would say Dervish and Dragon Guard, they'll feel very different, and they'll bring a lot of other cool utility to the table, and they're, like, high enough tier that you can use them in a lot of different areas. Yeah, I'm almost, like, ashamed to admit to you guys what VIP level I am. Like, when I first started this game, so, like, I first started in September, and when I started playing in September, I pretty much found the guild that I'm in now tough, like, right away for the most part. Like, I think I was maybe level 300 or something like that by the time I found them. Like, it was a Reddit post or something. And they've offered me no reason to leave, which is amazing. Like, it's such a good guild. But the, whatchamacallit, they were all so much higher level than I was. Like, if you look at the leaderboards and stuff like that, like they're all very high up there. So it was kind of like this inferiority complex that I had where I felt like I had to earn my spot in the guild. And of course they weren't putting that pressure on me or anything like that, but it's just the way I am. I'm always way too hardcore about the games I play. So I felt compelled to spend money to try and get up there faster. So yeah, my my VIP level is a little bit much. Yeah, I think I'm gonna love Dragon Guard when I get it to 100. It's like the class that I'm really looking forward to getting 100 to the most, because obviously you guys, if you've seen any of my content, probably understand that I love Sunspear a lot. And Dragon Guard, I know I can get to play very much like Sunspear with like a different toolkit, basically, which is super exciting. Like, there's nothing I love more than triple skull damage. Like, it's disgusting. So, I mean, if I have an opportunity to get that on yet another class that actually has some cool utility that they're bringing to the table, like, I'm all over it. So I'm very pumped to see where that goes. Alright, let's just eat all these annoying summoner people. Well, I'm glad this delve's not going to take 17 hours like the last one was going to. When they kill your High King Iron Gut, it kind of ruins some stuff. Ow. That was very nice. Yeah, I'll do it anyway. Song's groovy as hell. Sunburned Magnus and Mara ship. Yeah, Bard is tough. Like, it's unfortunate. I spent a lot of time with Bard because the cards that I had at the time, like Artema was the first like decent legendary that I got, or at least as far as I knew at the time. So like she was the first card that I ever used an Orb of Ascension on, and I had a really cool team with her and Bull Tauros and Queen Aurora, who was like my second mythic that I ever got. The team was good, but it was like not actually good. But I was just leveling Bard because every single person in that lineup was yellow. And now it's kind of like, it's sad to see that Bard is not really a good class. Anytime you try and use Bard, like, I feel like every single time I try and use Bard, it just never is satisfying. It's just, it doesn't bring any tools to the table. So this is, for folks that haven't seen this team in action yet, the reason I have Sledgepaw in here is so that he's cursing and stunning. So this person who's normally undigestible, now he is. So it's like a cool little thing you can do for this delve. Just, this will allow me to actually farm these guys via the normal methods. Of course, that depends on me actually doing this. So then, you know, same thing, another indigestible person, but now you can eat them. So that's a really cool way to get through this delve. As long as your High King Iron Gut survives that first fight, then you'll be fine. I don't know if any folks are just tuning in now versus before, but I totally lost my Iron Gut on the first fight, which was really stupid. I'm just going to keep blowing up to get Iron Gut full. No, or that. Is this music too loud for you guys? I turned down the source volume a lot. I honestly have no clue how loud the music is for you guys, though. I have it up like pretty high in my headphones, actually. Alright, we are close to getting Iron Gut up there. I'm just gonna chew up this down here. There we go. Let me double check who's actually undigestible. Now we're good. Yeah, I mean, this is the only team I've tried in this delve yet, but I kind of don't have a reason to try anything else, because this theoretically will be able to do everything. Like, I've actually considered taking Chief Dargon out, His base attack starts at about 50, so I mean it's kind of, you know, it's a 50-50 shot, and I'm wasting an entire troop slot to just boost it up. I mean, I bet you around level 500 that's probably going to be a lot more important, but for now it's not really necessary. Oh, you guys can't hear the music at all? Oh, that's no fun. I'm sitting here talking about music and you guys can't even hear it. That would be hilarious, actually. Let me see. Let me see if that helped at all. Let me know if that is too loud or what. Now I gotta make sure all my windows are back. Champion of the Guard. Yeah, so I actually have a decent team with him. I think it's kind of the only useful team with Champion of the Guard. So with Champion of the Guard, what the problem you're always going to have with him is that he's only creating red and blue and he takes red himself, so he feels very much like Stonehammer in that regard. But since he's creating a bunch of blue, even though he's pumping red allies, it actually feels wrong to put him in a team that's more red focused. Like, so I could theoretically, if I wanted to, replace Possessed King with someone that takes red mana and also explodes, like, not World Breaker, but Infernus, since he would have purple, which would be nice. But somebody else. But since he's taking all the red mana for himself, putting red people below him, unless you have some other way of generating mana, isn't the best. So blue people seems to be the thing you want to put underneath him. So this team, the way it works is, I'll just show you real quick, actually. With a Guardian Crown team, sure. So the way that it works is, like, you basically use Taipan to get your main dude up there, his mana. So, like, right now I've got a Taipan match, so we'll do that. And now he's good to go. I mean, this board couldn't look any nicer. Yeah, so then you just use your Doomblade to just blow the crap out of anybody you want. Like, it's literally, might as well just say insta-kill whoever's in the line of fire for that thing, because, like, that much Doom Skulls is just bananas amounts of damage. But then you can just keep doing this to your heart's content. And since I'm running this with Dragon Guard, it starts out with a Firestorm, which is actually very useful. But I mean, this team is just, I mean, I'm just going to cast Doomblade anyway, just because even if I take damage back, it's just not going to matter. So I find this team to be extremely effective, actually, for that. I can copy and paste it in chat, actually, if you guys want. I just realized that that would be a thing I could do. So if, feel free to steal that team if you want it. I find it's extremely effective. Also, you don't have to do it with Dragon Guard at all. There's no reason why you would have to use Dragon Guard for this. Honestly, this would work with Sunspear, Dragon Guard. You don't have to start with a Firestorm. I just prefer it starts with a Firestorm because I'm really trying to get him full as like the first priority. But beyond all that, I would say try and find teams that you can put blue stuff underneath Championing the Guard. I would argue that you should more or less ignore this red allies getting one stat at the start of each turn. Like, this is way too slow anyway. You know, if a game lasts 10 turns, you're getting 10 stats, which isn't really going to make or break a fight, and it took you 10 turns to get there. So I would argue just ignore this. Pay attention to the fact that he's super, super tanky and makes a bunch of blue mana, and then kind of go from there. So I would argue putting blue people underneath him makes the most sense, actually. I don't think putting red people underneath him is really going to make any sense. I need to bring my chat window up so I can make sure. Any troop to replace King? Possessed King in this lineup? So if I was going to try and replace Possessed King, a lot of people say Queen Aurora is kind of like a nice Possessed King replacement. I kind of get what they're talking about because you get a lot of bonus mana, which is like you're kind of using Possessed King for mana generation. So this bonus mana makes sense, and she also creates 10 of a color, which is pretty nice. The thing that's cool about her is that since you get to choose the color, if there just happens to be Corn. I'm sorry, man. You don't even have Taipan? If you don't have Taipan, we gotta get you opening like a bunch of glory keys. Yeah, because that's gonna be where you get them. He's like a super high value person. Doomblade, unfortunately, was something that happened with the event. There was a Tower of Doom event maybe oh god, I don't even know, like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. It was like the first Tower of Doom event came with this weapon. So once it comes back to Blue Day for Tower of Doom, since they already released the mask, that should mean the Doom Blade comes next, which probably means that you're 5 months away from this coming back, unless they have the Kingdom show up. So like this week, for instance, you could craft the what was it, the statue that was in there? Yeah, there's a Doom statue in there this time around, which was something that was offered like a little bit ago. So when the next Kingdom comes up for the Doom Blade, that would be when you'd be able to do that. The Doom Blade is part of Dragon's Claw. Nope, sorry, part of Draxzoom. So that would be when you'd want to pick that up. And I'll definitely mention it in the weekly videos that I put up, like the tomorrow's video for the preview. I'll make sure to reference if there's any of the Doom weapons in there that you'd want to be interested in. Did the music actually start coming through for you guys? I had to remember what team I was actually using for a second there. I was about to treat it like it was my Champion of the Guard team. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would definitely argue his trait about pumping all red allies is not the part about him that you want to care about. Like, I think it's kind of one of those, it's like a red herring. They want you to think about that, but in reality, I don't think you're really going to be able to build a strong team around him that takes red mana, just simply because every single time you cast him, he's going to be eating red mana. Which means you either have to put him in a state where like you leave him ready to cast but don't cast him, which is kind of like a waste. Like all that mana could have went to somebody that could have actually used it. So it's just not like an efficient use of mana in that capacity. So I would definitely argue that just using him as a blue mana generator that never dies is probably the best way to treat him, and then putting the least number of red people below him as you can. That or just have like insane mana generation. How's it going, Steve? I am happy though that he's not as useless as Stonehammer was. Like Stonehammer was completely not good, and I thought for sure before this guy came out that he would just fall into the same bucket. But fortunately, he's not. And it's kind of funny. Like it's not obvious to me why they're different. Like I haven't sat here and thought about like, well, why is this guy better than Stonehammer? Like, arguably they should be more or less the same. I don't think it's the spell armor, honestly. It's probably just the fact that he pumps himself up like so hard and so fast. It just gets kind of crazy. Like in a fight that didn't even last very long, I've ended the fight with over like 600 armor or something like that. So it's kind of just like he gets totally busted so fast. So I mean, if you're ever against a Champion of the Guard, just remember that if you stun him, he's like a little puppy dog. You never have to worry about him if you stun him, and he has no defense against anything like that. So transform him, stun him, insta-kill him, kind of the same way you would deal with Bloodhammer. The only difference with him and Bloodhammer is that you can't use magic damage to like punch through his natural defenses. So insta-kills, devours, anything like that, that's going to be the way you'd want to get rid of him. Just treat him that way. Just treat him as someone you need to get rid of. Like if you're using a skull bashing lineup against him without someone that can stun, like you're going to have a really bad time against Champion of the Guard. I mean, the nice thing is that his skull resistance isn't so high that he's indestructible. Like he's not like Bloodhammer in that regard, or Stonehammer in that regard. His skull resistance is only 60, so I mean, or 65. It's not like busted, so you would have to use a lot of Doom Skulls. That's the other thing. I don't know if a lot of people realize that, but if you use Doom Skulls to punch through, like even if you're entangled, even if your attack is 0, even if the person has 80% skull resistance, it treats the Doom Skull damage like magic damage, so you can actually punch through like completely. Yeah, I could totally see that. It does sound like Mega Man. There's actually some really sick Mega Man remixes out there. I remember there was like some old ass site, I wish I remember what it was called, that always like you would download these MP3s of like old school music. Like I'd have all these Street Fighter remixes and stuff like that. I know Mega Man was another big one, like Castlevania was another big one. Video game remix music is always the best. But yeah, if you're dealing with Champion of the Guard, that's my recommendation. If you're going against him, figure out some way to just bypass all that crap, like Doomskull explosions, like using Glaceon to like blow him up, or someone like Bloodhammer that's converting all blues to Doomskulls. Like Doomskulls will punch through anybody, so that's always very effective. You could just devour him, or you could transform him, which is probably more likely. Like if you have Possessed King in your lineup, you could almost treat him like a Divine or Guardian Crown in that regard. So like I know whenever I went up against mp3.com, I don't think it was that. It had some name, it had like a video gamey kind of name, like 8-bit remix or something like that. This is actually pretty good though. Yeah, apparently if I get enough subscribers on YouTube, I'll actually have to like pay to use this, but since I'm some lowly channel right now, they don't care if I stream their music, is my understanding. So that's kind of cool. Where are we? Oh, 7. We got a portrait though. Yeah, that looks like a music, it is a music note, that's what to say. That does not feel random. And we pick up a little bit of that. Yeah, I was kind of mad at my Guild Wars time around. I can show you guys my attack teams. I actually remember someone asked me to paste my attack teams in Reddit or something like that. I can show you what I use, since you're all here on the stream, being super cool. So for Red Attack Day, I use this guy. That's Yao, even though it's not showing up for whatever reason. So the theme behind this one, you'd have to have Sun Spirit 100, and then Infernus is there to burn everybody, and then you just have red mana for days, so he's converting stuff to purple, which synergizes nicely with Yao. This guy's just there to like disrupt whatever other people do, so actually let me demo that real quick. I was really mad though. Like this team went 3-2, and I played it all day the day before, so you have no idea how disheartening it was to like watch that team fail like that. I of course do not want to blame myself in any capacity, but I was like stupid tired that day. I don't want to deal with this guy. And that's not going to be low enough. That's not going to be low enough. There we go. So then it's just, you know, party with Yao at this point. So there's your triple skull damage at work. We don't have any conversions, we don't have any Yao matches. Just blow them up. I mean, at this point, I'm just, oh, we've got Graveseer. And we've got Yao. And then, let's see if we can just embarrass this guy. Nah, I can't do it. I was gonna see if I could kill him with just matching red gems. So that's the red team. It should be very good, honestly. I was kind of really pissed that I didn't do well in Guild Wars Day for that one. So that was my red team. For yellow team, same general theme. So you're again using Sunspear. Like, of course, if you like, again, if you watch my content, you'll know that I'm very Sunspear biased. So I apologize if it sounds like a broken record. To me, it's just like when you're doing PvP, you like have to be using Sunspear. Also, one casual tip that I try and mention is as many videos as I can, but you see how they've got Moonrabbit and he's full? Like, whenever you see an empowered converter on the other team, like, when I know that I'm not about to get a 4 or 5 match, like, I have to be aware of what he's gonna do. So, like, I'm looking for blues and yellows to find, like, what he might match. The last thing I want to do is give him the opportunity to actually make that. So, fortunately, it's just one there, but since this team actually thrives on yellow mana, he just put himself in a bad spot. So that's fun for us. Then we just get to work. That first troop being blessed is kind of annoying. This week and we'll miss some elite weapons. Yeah, so if you jump on Terran's World, I don't know if you've ever seen Terran's World before, but it's a site that'll actually let you know what stuff is coming. All you'd have to do is look at the troop week for that week, so you'd be able to see like where the troops are from. I'll actually pull it up on stream in a second here after this fight. But you can find out what kingdom is coming up next, and then from there you can just say, look up which weapons were potentially from that kingdom. So I'm not like Tacit in the sense that I have like an encyclopedic knowledge of like where weapons might be from. Like I absolutely do not recall which kingdom a certain weapon is from. I'd have to look that up, but that would be how you do it. Let's just kill. Alright, good. So yeah, that's my yellow team. It's like that. So let me show you guys where I'd go to do that stuff. Alright. Hopefully you guys can see this. I think you guys can see this. But if we go to Terran's World, so what you'd want to do is go to troops and then look at the kingdoms here. So if there was a certain kingdom that you knew that you were most interested in, you could just find out when this kingdom is showing up. So like Wild Plains weapons, for instance, will be available here on that Monday. Aminothrax? What the hell? That must be a new kingdom coming out or something? Or a new delve? That's got to be a new delve. I was about to say, I've never heard of that before. But Suncrest will be here, Zulkari will be here. So it's kind of like, this is where you go, which is a little... It's not obvious that that's where it would be. Like, I originally thought it would be tied to the weekly events, but when I asked Tacit actually a very similar question, he said that it's tied to the troop, which actually makes a lot of sense. So this is the site that you would want to use. Like, I'm using this site to let you guys know what's coming up for future events and things like that. So jump over here. It's terransworld.com, Tarans, and then jump into the troop spoilers, see where the kingdoms are, and then look up what weapons you might be interested in. So the weapons that you would care about the most would probably be like a Trickster's Shot, like an Earth's Fury, like a Rope Dart. Figure out which kingdoms those belong to, and then you'll find out when they're coming up. You can kind of like plan for it. Bright Forest, I know, is tied to Trickster's Shot. So Trickster's Shot at a minimum is going to be August 19th. Beyond that, I'm not entirely sure if I see anything... Actually, Draxzoom, so that would be your Doomblade right there. But it's saying January 1st of 2031. Yeah, I don't think that's accurate, so probably not something that you would want to see. So, yeah, that's how you do that. So then other Guild Wars teams that I do, Purple. So this again follows my fun Sunspear thing. I guess if there's nothing else you learn from watching my videos, it's make sure you level Sunspear. I think I'll have done my job in life if I've just converted everybody to using Sunspear all the time. So what this team is all about is that triple skull damage that you just saw there. So like that guy's dead. That guy's only not dead because I'm stunned, but then we use Moonrabbit to just bless it off. This guy cries that he didn't get anything good with that. And then we just kill people again with skulls. So then we kill that guy with skulls. So I mean, this is like where I'm always trying to explain, like, triple skull damage is so busted, because it was just kind of like I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, and all I did was match like a skull. It's also why I was crapping on Warlord a little bit. Like, someone made a comment on one of my videos that they disagreed with my take on Warlord. But I mean, triple skull damage is so strong that you don't need to pump up your attack a ton to make it good. You just need to do it. So it's kind of hard to say, well, you know, why would you build a class completely around pumping up attack that also gets triple skull damage? It's just completely unnecessary. This is going to be an annoying fight. I'm very curious to see how this one goes. So he's got Gimlet. By the way, this is my Blue Day team, I think. Oh yeah, that's right. Flammifire's coming up. I'm definitely going to be picking that one up for sure. That's kind of one of those things where I use Sky Hero for all my my red teams, but it would actually be super nice to be able to use Flammifier as well as like an alternate. So green, I have to just remember what I'm even doing here. So I want to make sure that's fine. I don't have any mercy casts. That's not gonna help me. Let's make him hit me with a skull. Or not. Wow. But we've got mercy. Let's find out what class. Yep, they're stealthy. But let's get this guy up there. Let's do some of this, some of that. Alright, so now we just gotta get to this guy. This feels like appropriate music to deal with this team. We've definitely got you. Rope dart, your friend. Alright. Got everybody down. Ideally, I would do no damage to him, and I would pick up this guy with rope dart so I can just dispatch of him. So I'm gonna see if I can get away with that tactic. I need yellows though. This is gonna be the most awkward way to do this, but I'm gonna try it. Yeah. Alright, so now I've got my yellows. Let me make sure that's the best one. No, it hit him! Oh, God. Why? Oh, why? We almost had it. That's so rough. Alright, well now we're back to just playing the game. But that's basically the way that you kill life and death if you don't have a team set up to defend against him. Like the team I'm using right now is not at all set up for life and death defense. Theoretically it should be able to work anyway. But we'll see. It's not going to be easy. I also wonder how long Taipan's been full. I haven't even been paying attention. I just got so distracted by my epic strategy that I was trying. Alright, if I cast that, he'll die. Let's see. I can't pull it down. Still can't do it. Yeah, if I win this fight, it's going to be 17 hours long. I'm pretty sure this isn't going to work. My best shot was that other thing. But yeah, this is my my Blue Day Guild Wars team. This one went 5-0 actually fairly easily, but obviously I did not fight this exact team. There's really no reason to sit here and watch all of this, but it will be over shortly. It's almost like, I'll cleanse myself. Let's just put on a show, and then we'll die. But the theme with that team is that, like, you're just kind of like, you play it very much similar to the Divine Ishbala and Quillen team. This team, actually. So this team plays pretty similar to this one. The only difference is that it's using Miraji Queen to create, like, tons of skull damage, and then you've got 2 empowered converters to kind of get you the quick start that you're after. So this team actually works pretty well. I'd argue that running it with Tidecaller specifically, you could probably do it with Titan, and it would be better. I think I'm just trying to get cheeky with my Tidecaller. So that's what I use on my Blue Day. And then Brown Attack, I was actually very proud of this team today. So I made this to basically perfectly combat the Yao Flammifier team that you always fight on Brown Day. So real quick, I'm just checking to see what matches he's going to get. So let's not let him do that. I love the AI. You can just abuse them so badly. Sure. Wow. That was generous. That was also pretty generous. And this is why Corvash is nice, because he just tells people to be quiet, which is always fun. I mean, the whole trick when you fight this team is you just gotta kill one of them, or disable one of them. Like, you just have to interrupt them somehow. Like, the moment their loop starts, like, you pretty much will not win. Not that you literally can't win, but it's, like, extremely hard to win once their loop starts. So it's kind of like there's a window there where you've got to kill them before they do anything. So we're actually pretty lucky this time around. I mean, not that I need to cast her just there, but that's why Daughter of Ice is actually nice for this team. So then the next guy, I'll probably kill you. I don't really care if I take random skulls. You're dead. Yeah. So now we're in just cleanup mode. I'm definitely using Corvash a lot more these days. I wasn't using Corvash nearly as much because I don't like that he has no loot potential, but what he lacks in loot potential he makes up for in like delay. Like he'll delay the other team from doing anything that they want to be doing faster. So it's pretty nice actually. Even though he doesn't get to keep your turn, he's not going to mess up your turn per se. Like the first two people on their side aren't going to be able to cast like this guy. Like he'll never be able to cast basically as long as I keep doing my thing. So he's actually pretty nice in that way, even though he has no loot potential to offer. So that's my Brown Day team that I used today. I went 5-0 with. Yeah, as far as the diamonds go, it looks like the Doomblade weapons, I think they were like, what was it, 600 gems? Like 800 gems? It was like kind of, or diamonds I should say. 900, yeah. I mean, that's a lot, but some weapons it's absolutely worth it. Like, they could literally charge me 4,000 diamonds for Trickster's Shot or Earth's Fury, and I would gladly pay it. Wouldn't even hesitate. Hey, Carlo. Yeah, I've seen you comment on some of my videos before. Appreciate you jumping in. I'm just kind of randomly demoing my Guild Wars attack teams. I wasn't super happy with how it went this week. I think that intro 3 and 2 day that I went just kind of like messed up my head a little bit. Green attack, I've got this team. I don't remember if I used this team actually. This doesn't feel like the team that I used, but I'll show it anyway. There's very much feels like a team that I was experimenting with than I actually used. We'll see. So Taipan, we can't be having that. I'll take that. This music is intense. Let's just get that fan up. That perfectly got my Yao. We got that match. We're gonna keep on matching, and hell, that's good. You know what? Maybe I did use this team. This feels fine, actually. Didn't look that good on paper, admittedly, but just by the way it's performing, I can tell. I'm starting to remember using this now that I'm like actually using it. I think Yao might kill her. We'll see. It's close. Yeah, I got her. Also, if the music is like pissing you guys off, just let me know. I could always turn it off. Oh man, it's Lofty. How's it going, man? You're like top commenter on all my stuff. I was talking to my girlfriend about you. I was just like, there's this guy who's always using the English flag and giving me thumbs up on my comments, and it's awesome. It's cool to see you in chat, man. That's really cool. Was there a color I missed? I feel like I've shown... Did I show red? Yeah, it was the first one I showed. Yeah, so I think those were all my attack teams. I don't think I'm missing any. Yeah. So, I mean, this week on Guild Wars I did okay. Like, I mean, I obviously didn't do bad, but I didn't do nearly as good as I'd hoped, which was kind of really frustrating. So I ended up going, like, still over 50,000 points, which is good, but these losses here, like, this one killed me. These ones I could kind of live with, but that one was really rough. Like, that day I was just doing so garbage. Like, I actually struggled against a Skeleton Key defense team, which, like, granted, that team can kind of catch you if you're not able to get a board together, but it just doesn't feel good. It really messed with my morale for a little bit there. Figure I'll jump back into faction things. Fortunately for folks that are watching the stream now, they didn't have to watch me do that awful delve where I lost High King Iron Gut to that insta kill troop like right away. This music is not bad though. I think when my channel gets bigger, I'm totally gonna pay for that subscription to just play this in the background. It's kind of nice to hear something that's just not your normal mix. Like normally I just have like a bunch of Apple Music songs in a big playlist. But you know, even if you have 500 songs that you listen to, you're eventually gonna know them all in and out. So it's kind of nice to have something else random to listen to. That feels... well, that was pretty close. Sorry if the stream just blipped there for a second. Yeah, I hope everyone's been doing their faction event. I mean, it's always nice to just kind of like get the troops at a minimum. Like, even if you don't end up doing the faction assault event, like you don't have time to do it for whatever reason, I strongly recommend getting Queen Xochi, even if you don't. So I would strongly recommend you do that. Sorry, I'm just seeing like my stream is doing funny stuff. So hopefully the stream is still working. I can't tell if you guys are still there or not, but looks like things got all weird for a second there. Now I totally feel like those streamers that are always just like, I don't know what the deal is, you know, I'm paying for all this like really big internet, I don't know why it's having issues. Apparently that's a thing. Kind of just assume people might live in like a bad area or something. Oh, okay, cool. I wasn't sure if the stream got all messed up for you guys. I think you're immune. Good deal. Sounds like you guys might be a lot delayed from where I'm at, if I'm looking at that right. Yeah, this... I feel like the troop part, like the troop summoning piece isn't really bothering me so much, because kind of like once you get your loop going, it's like, it's fine. It doesn't really matter how much crap they put at you at that point, but it does seem that insta-kill troop can basically mess up your entire delve like right away. I mean, it's just so different than having your troop lineup mixed around. Like, it's so much worse to have someone just straight killed like that. So, I mean, as long as you get past that first fight unscathed, you should be fine for the rest of it. At least I haven't run into any issues fighting that crazy team. So we're gonna curse this top guy because I'm like pretty sure he's immune to Devour. But not anymore, he's not. Yummy. And we've already got 100 attack, so there's no reason to boost it. So we're good to go there. Did you guys do anything cool for 4th of July? It was basically like raining the entire time here. So I had no opportunity to do anything. There's actually fireworks tonight that I think we're going to try and go to. But it was just like impossible to do anything this 4th of July. Like I ended up making like a video, I think. I can't believe I just ate a dude with 1 health. That's what I get for talking a lot. It's pretty funny. I've noticed when I'm making videos or I'm streaming, I definitely play a little worse. It's kind of funny. Like I'm not paying as much attention as I normally do. Also, feel free to ask any questions you guys might have as you're watching. I'm probably going to stream for maybe like another 20-30 minutes. I definitely have to jump in the shower at some point to get myself clean. I have to actually like do something today with my life. It's also kind of been fun ever since I started making videos and things like that. It's given me a reason to go buy myself some toys, which was nice. Like got a new keyboard, got a new mouse, had to get a new webcam. Although apparently I didn't need a new webcam, but I got one anyway, so I've got one. I actually thought my webcam was busted, but it turns out there's a like Microsoft security setting you need to change to make your camera like display, which is really stupid. And if it wasn't for this like random ass YouTube video that I found, I would have never known. So I ended up spending money on a webcam I totally didn't need. But it's fine. Because I like shiny toys, so why not? Let's get rid of Shegra. Need to get rid of Shegra. He's going to be the only person that potentially makes this a bad time. 88% chance. Alright. I was about to say. Don't fail me now. Is there a class guide you guys would rather see next? Like if I was going to cover another class guide, is there a certain class you would want to see before the other ones? I haven't really decided which one I'm going to do next. I ideally would make it Dragon Guard, admittedly, but I want to get it to 100 first so I can demo the Fireblade part of him. Because I imagine what a lot of people think is if it's a Dragon Guard class, you probably should be running it with dragons. And it's kind of funny that we think of it that way because, you know, when you think about Titan, you know, you don't run Titan with giants most of the time. Like, you can, but Titan obviously works well with other classes. It's just funny that when you run something like a Dragon Guard, you're tempted to actually put together like a team of all dragons, but I think that actually ignores a lot of what you can do with them. So I mean, I imagine the team that I'm going to end up using with Dragon Guard is going to have Infernus in it for sure, because I want the burning so I can get the triple skull damage. And then after that, like, it's really just, I'm going to treat it like a Sun Spear for the most part, and I think it's actually going to be, against some lineups, better than Sun Spear. In some instances worse than Sun Spear, but it's just going to be a really nice secondary option to have. Yeah, G-Man, it was, I mean, it was kind of nice. It just, like, lined up with when I got paid, so it was one of those moments where I just felt like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just do this. I was fortunate enough to get, like, a raise at work, or promotion, I should say, at work pretty recently, so I guess I decided to treat myself a little bit. It's been like the first time I've done something like that in a long time. This weekend I think I went a little ham on the finance side of things, but it's alright. I'll go back to being cool about everything after today. I mean, the nice thing about this delve is that, like, after this faction assault event, like, it'll be easy enough to just farm this thing up to 500, since you don't really have to worry about doing too long of a thing. Like, you just have to get past that first fight and then do one other fight, and then you're right up against the boss. Like, it's rough when you have to do multiple fights to get there. Like, I forget which faction it is, but there was definitely one where I had to do, like, 5 fights just to get to the end, which is pretty rough. Yeah, G-Man, it totally does. But I honestly think that's going to be the best, like, way to do it. And, like, the easiest way to think about it is kind of like, you don't have to use dragons, of course, but then also all that stat pumping that he's doing for dragons will apply to your hero. So at a minimum, you're going to be stat pumping your hero. So, I mean, there's really nothing else about the class that works with dragons aside from that minor stat pumping. So it's kind of like, there's really no reason why you would need to use dragons with him. So I'm pretty confident, actually, that the best Dragon Guard lineups are not going to use dragons, or at least, like, if they are using dragons, it's going to be circumstantial. Like, you know, Worldbreaker might fit in there pretty well. Like, the team that I was using to farm with, admittedly did have, like, 2 dragons in it. I think I had Worldbreaker and Divinia and Infernus. That might be right. I'd have to double check what it was. It was actually a really nice team, though. It doesn't have as many, like, toys. It doesn't have as much, like, options for things. Like, it still totally worked, but, it admittedly was kind of like a one-note kind of team. Like, it was basically just, like, spam them to death, with, AoE damage. I was gonna say, not getting that first Devour really sucks. So now we're back in this scenario. But yeah, I think Dragon Guard's gonna be the next class that I do a guide for. I just need to spend some time leveling it up. But I agree, like doing creative team building is probably like my favorite part of the game, like by far. Like if there was like a static number of troops, they weren't releasing any new troops, like it was easy to get all the classes up to 100. Like I can't imagine I would end up playing nearly as much as I do now. The fact that I can always just like know that there's always like cool teams I could be trying out or making. That's what really keeps me going. Like, it's easily my favorite part. We're unfortunately just kind of like messing around until we get enough mana, or until he gets unentangled. Although theoretically I should just be using him to like tap people. At least he gets some kind of like magic damage. This poor enemy. I'm just gonna make him bleed to death. Oh, good. Iron Gut's alive. Alright, well, didn't need him anyway. That kind of works. Yeah, I think that's what you need to do, G-Man, honestly. It's kind of like when Daughter of Ice came out, for instance, she got released with, whatchamacallit? They had Glacial Crystal, I think it was called, in the weapon store, Soulforge. And I ended up like messing around with teams with her. And it's just kind of like, to me, that's really what you want to be trying to do. It's like, figure out how all these new troops can potentially be used in ways that like aren't expected. I mean, obviously the meta doesn't just magically appear, like someone has to make it. So it's kind of like, I just like to be the guy who, you know, is kind of like thinking for myself a little bit in that regard. Just found myself bobbing my head super hard to this song. I really do like Queen Sochi though. I think she's gonna be really good. She's kind of like a worse Infernus in a way, but she's still pretty good. As long as she's not summoning harpies, she's really not that annoying though. Since she's stunned, she's not doing it. Like on 4/5s, there's a chance she'll summon harpy mages. So as long as you stun her in some capacity, she's really not that annoying. Yeah, I wasn't using Frost Feather on my team. I ended up doing Mab Scotty, Daughter of Ice with Glacial Crystal, I think, in the first slot. And it's like, the problem with that team is that it's insanely dependent on mana burn working. So like, if the team is at all resistant to mana burn, like, you have the hardest time. So that was the reason I stopped using it. Like, if people weren't able to be immune to mana burn, then that team would be insane. Good deal. We'll just keep her going. Alright, so our goal is to kill this person before they do anything scary. And we've got Iron Gut almost there. Oh! Like right there, 88%. Let's go. Alright. Now we're in a good spot. Ooh. That was some damage. That is kind of the nice thing with Sentinel, like around these levels, that Razor Armor, doing like 20% of your armor is like skull damage, that actually does some serious work. Especially if you're like enraged and things like that, it actually does a lot more, so it's really nice. Unfortunately, oh god, I saw that out of the corner of my eye just as I clicked it. Let's get Dargon going. Do this first. Eat a lizard. I'm sure that's tasty. Troll's already stunned, so I don't care. Let's do this for mana generation, just for fun. Psh, sure. Do all that. Eat a Hellcat. That sounds delicious. Tons of mana. Eat another Hellcat. I wonder how big Iron Gut is in real life. Like, if you saw Iron Gut in real life, how big would he have to be eating all of these people? Like, he'd have to be gigantic, right? Yeah, I forget what team I went up against that was all mana burn immune. It might have been a life and death team, honestly. Like, it was an Arachnean Weaver for sure. It might have been a Megavore and a life and death and something else. Like, my team was just like sitting there trying their heart outs to do anything useful, and they just couldn't. So that's why I ended up stop using the team, because against some lineups it's just like you literally can't do anything, which is just not a good feeling. Oh, I thought that was full for some reason. But I mean, you could totally use that team in other instances. Like, if you know the team that you're up against isn't going to be mana burn immune, then absolutely that team would wreck. It starts right away, it does tons of damage, it can basically like never give up its turn. And like, Scotty's really just there to keep the ice storms going. But I mean, in an emergency, you can just have her summon you another mab if she ends up dying. Like, it worked really, really, really well. Megavore is actually super busted in Guild Wars. I don't know if folks have noticed, but I mean, in Guild Wars, like, your stats are all super pumped up if your guild's pretty good about Sentinels and you're up there a little bit. My Megavore was doing, what was it? It was like 73 damage, and like, Megavore's basically doing pure damage, or true damage, I should say. So I mean, like, a troop that can just do 73 true damage like right off the bat is like sick. So I mean, in Guild Wars, I actually find Megavore is really fun to use. The only problem with Megavore is actually he doesn't help your final score, since the way that they do the scoring is kind of really awkward. Like, our guild actually has a really nice post which kind of tries to describe how Infinity Plus 2 is actually doing the scores for Guild Wars. Because you'll know, like, whenever you go 5-0, like, you still don't get the same point total every single time. So it factors in things like, did you lose troops? Like, how much damage did you do? How much health did you end with? But apparently armor destruction does not count towards your score. So someone like Megavore is actually not giving you like a high score potential, because he's just destroying all that armor. So like, as far as the game's concerned, like, that's just damage that didn't happen. So that's kind of stupid. That's something that I think they really need to fix or adjust. The fact that like you're using a troop and it's actually hurting you by using it in some capacity, it's not so fun. Yeah, I mean, that team running it with Frost Mage and everything, it's just like, it's really, really fun. I agree. Like, I'm really frustrated that, you know, people are immune to mana burn like that. It feels kind of like a weird thing for people to be immune to, honestly. It's kind of like, why? Mana burn is such like a uncommon thing. Someone being immune to it is just kind of like overkill, I think. Yeah, Megavore's kind of an interesting mythic. Like, I know in my tier list video, I think I had him at the bottom of the A tier. But that's just because, like, he'll scale no matter what. Like, anyone who can just destroy all the armor right away is always going to be good. But then he also has that insta-kill trait, and his nuke is, like, really good damage, so it's kind of tough. Like, the fact that he doesn't loop is the worst thing about him. But, I mean, if I use that against everybody, then it's kind of tough. Like, I hope Infinity Plus 2 is thinking about that kind of stuff. Like, when it comes to new troops and things like that. Like, one of the reasons the new troop isn't completely useless is that he has loot potential in some capacity, which gives him value. So, I mean, whenever they release troops that don't have loot potential, it doesn't really feel good. But Queen Xochi, for instance, like from the Delve that they just released, I think we're about to fight her next, I think. Well, no, we will. Yeah. I can't see her stats from here, but she explodes like 5 gems as long as there's a storm running, which is actually really nice. Like, her base damage that she does isn't very high, so that part kind of sucks. But the nice thing is that she totally loops. So, I mean, that's also nice. My music just stopped for some reason. I gotta figure out why that's going on. So yeah, Queen Xochi is actually pretty good. I was messing around with her in Diviner. I don't really like Diviner. Like, I don't know what I feel about Diviner, honestly. Like, she's good, but green mana, unfortunately, in this game is like one of the hardest to generate. Like, there's no empowered converter that works for green mana. So like, starting to get green mana basically depends on you starting with a Leaf Storm and then doing like an explosion or something like that, like a Leprechaun. That's like the most consistent way to get a green mana team started up. Like, Forest Guardian obviously will get you 50% mana start for your beasts, but I don't really like running beasts all that much. Like, there's not a ton that I love. So I think they really need to introduce a green mana converter of some kind. It feels like a very obvious omission, and it feels intentional. And that, if I had to guess why, it would probably be that every single troop right now converts something else into green, or from green, so it's kind of like they don't want to have troops being able to convert all greens into something and then something back into greens. Like, I feel like they're worried it'll do that. Green Seer is it's not empowered though, right? Or if it is empowered, it's not doing a conversion, it's doing a creation. Yeah, that's the only problem. Like, they just need to have some kind of empowered person to do it. Like, and that's kind of the downside to the game these days, is before all of these empowered troops started showing up, like, the game felt a little, I don't want to say balanced, but like, it wasn't as chaotic, maybe is the best way to say it. Because now that there's so many empowered converters, like, it feels like you can't run a team without one. Because in like PvP, for instance, if you're running a team without an empowered converter, like, you're just in such a bad spot, because the other team can just like vaporize you in one turn. So it's kind of like the game forces you to have to do this. It feels like a nuclear defense type thing, where it's like, well, since they have nukes, I have to have nukes, kind of thing. Like, it's, if the other team has the ability to just destroy me on turn 1, I need to have the ability to destroy them on turn 1, otherwise I can't be competitive. Oh, I see. This is one of those teams that I actually don't like going up against more than many of the others, just because, like, this guy totally ruins my vibe. Like, when this guy messes up my whole situation, then it's not a good time. Like, when he reorders your team, which he's about to do. It makes me a sad man. I mean, Iron Gut in the first slot's not the worst thing in the world. Although now Chief Dargon is, like, totally useless. That's less fun. This guy does 15 damage. Do not care if he hits me with the skull. Alright, good. I really just wanted to get my Mountain Crusher full. Yeah, let's try it. Oh, that was not ideal. Tempted. So, like, this is one of those scenarios where it's kind of like, whenever I'm playing and I see this setup where there's a gem here, 2 gems here, and then there's like a line between them, and I can make stuff fall. I know this one's gonna miss it, but since there's a dust storm running, theoretically there's like a greater percentage chance that this is gonna 4-match. Let's see if that works. Of course not. But that's something else that I try and think about all the time, is like when you're in those scenarios where it's like do or die, and you're like, you need to do something big, otherwise you know you're gonna lose. Like, those are the kinds of opportunities you can kind of look for, is trying to use like as much statistical advantage as you possibly can with like a storm to see if you can get something to fall through. Or even if you don't have the statistical advantage, like sometimes you just need something to happen like that, otherwise you're not gonna win. So trying to keep your eyes peeled for those kinds of scenarios is always nice. We do not get lucky with an instant devour. Kind of like that happened, because I needed the board to get exploded. Oh, I don't see the insta-kill troop, which must mean that they're alive and active. Thank God. Yeah, they're there. Let's get... Oh my God. Yeah, until we devour somebody, our High King Iron Gut is just like a sitting duck up there. Let's just do this for mana generation purposes. Alright. 3rd time's a charm, right? Yeah. Yeah, right at the drop of the song. Heck yeah. Probably should have eaten Queen Xochi there. Oh well. Well, there we go. Got through that anyway. I think that's all the streaming I'm going to end up doing for today. Because as I mentioned, I have to get showered in time. I have to be somewhere at 3. So I'm probably going to end it there. But I appreciate everyone jumping on. There was more people watching this one than there was last time. So I super appreciate it. But as always, you can look forward to the Monday morning video where I'm going to run through the weekly preview. So that'll let you know what's in the Soulforge weapon and troop-wise, what event keys will get you, what events you can expect later on in the week, and a run-through of whatever the events are for both Switch and PC, Xbox, PS4 side. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys for the next one. I'll see ya.